The whole story revolves around the Shagohod, which is a tank that can go so fast that it can actually assist an intercontinental fucking ballistic nuke that goes up, and so you can, if you had a sufficient long enough runway, you could actually launch a nuke from the far side of fucking Russia and hit America, and this was completely unheard of, you know what I mean, back in the fucking 60s and stuff. That was why nukes in Cuba were such a big deal, because it was like, holy shit, that's like right next door. You can't have the enemy's nukes like down up in our grundle. Who made this game? Hideo Kojima, the guy who made like Zone of the Enders.
Chinese?
What? No, it's Japanese.
He's Japanese. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually really smart. The second one's the most smart. There was this whole intrigue about like secondary Bond sort of plot. You know what I mean? All about the shadowy group of figures called the Philosophers, who were like the true profiteers of World War I and II, and all that sort of shit. Like they were like the main. Imagine like the beginning of the military-industrial complex before World War I and II, where it's just like this shadowy group of dudes who were like, haha, if we sell all the weapons and bandages, we are the ultimate war profiteers. And they just constantly, peace is bad for business, you know what I'm saying? And it's a constant cycle of manipulating soldiers and all that. But they all died because they're old. They're dying off now. And their fortune is up for grabs. And it's like a tiny little microfilm. The fortune that's up for grabs. And he's, you know, the thunder, like the lightning colonel dude, who's like, in the beginning of the game, he shows up with like a nuke and it's like, haha, I'm going to nuke my own country because Americans are here, and that just makes sense. And then everyone's like,
kill everybody.
If you have, like, since Snake showed up at the right time, they were like, of course he fucking nuked that facility. Why would an insane lightning fucking general do this? Why would he nuke his own facility? And, yeah, that starts an international incident, and they're trying to send Snake back in because his former mentor is actually seemingly in cahoots with the Russians, the evil lightning colonel, or whatever the fucking general, I forget what his name is.
That's a cool face.
Yeah.
I can't remember him at all, honestly. I do want to run through the game again.
I can't even remember his name. It's okay, man.
I want to run through that game again at some point. I remember it was a good playthrough.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's such a great game. The game that comes after it is the one that's on the PSP. It's all about...
I don't even remember that one. I literally only learned about that. I say that, but like maybe I did know about it before and forgot. But I only learned about it honestly like 2 weeks ago. And I was looking at Metal Gear Solid shit. We were talking about it, and I was like, "What?"
You remember that woman that's Snake's boss? You know what I mean?
The bitch that's always talking to him?
Yeah, boss. Yeah. He finds out that there's a recording of her talking in South America, and he's down in South America anyway. So he's like, I'll take the job. And it finds out that there's a fucking AI built around her entire consciousness, and they're trying to figure out why she turned and was buddy-buddy with the Russians to begin with. And Snake tells them that, like, no, she was doing it all for her country. She kind of, like, had to be the bad guy. She was pretty much doing a Christ thing. Like, she had to suffer. Like, someone had to take the fall for all this bullshit. And it had to be her, so she had to, and that's why Snake had to kill her and all that.
He what?
Yeah, Snake had to kill her.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought she was in all the games.
No, she's not. You're thinking of Ava.
Oh.
The bitch who couldn't zip up her zipper. Although they are kind of similar. But yeah, he's obsessed with trying to find out more about the fucking AI because he's not sure if it's an AI or if she's just locked up in a fucking machine. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this is like way before AIs even existed. So he's like, what the fuck? Why is her voice showing up in South America? You can tell that it's perfectly her and stuff like that because he's so obsessed with her. It's kind of like his
I've been
master.
stalking this woman for years. I know what she sounds like.
It's more like it's his mentor, and it's like it's his mom, and he's in
He
love
jacks
with her.
off to her doing ASMR.
Maybe, I don't know.
Sounds like it.
It could be. It's more than words can say. You know what I'm saying? It's deep, bro.
Super
Anyway, they find out that they're creating AIs from her mind, and they're throwing them into fucking Metal Gears. And this Metal Gear is actually like on a weird failsafe mission, so that if there's ever a nuclear strike on American soil, but this is like in South America, so they can detect that shit. This thing will send nuclear codes to like all the remaining nuclear silos around, like in Costa Rica and all that shit. It takes place in Costa Rica. I just remembered this. Fuck. Nothing to do with Cuba. But it's all about that time where in the 60s they were fighting over Cuba because it's like prime territory for the Soviets to come in, like in America's backyard and just be like, "Ah, let's launch nukes from here." They don't even have to go like fucking 70 miles. You know what I mean? Bam, Miami. You know what I mean? If fucking people can swim from Cuba to Miami, nukes can be like, woohoo, skipping a jump. So that's what all of that hubbub was about. And Costa Rica is just like really close to Cuba. But the whole thing is that Costa Rica doesn't have a military. Can you imagine that? Costa Rica doesn't have a military.
Is that a fact?
Fact. They choose not.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
They must have like a Coast Guard or something. Like maybe they don't have like a fucking standing army, but like they have to have something.
I'm not making fun of you. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
They have to. Like they're a fucking island. They have to patrol somehow.
It makes sense.
I feel like
It makes sense.
they're
It
like
makes sense.
pirates come rape our land. We don't care. Fuck our butts.
And it turns out that like Snake has to convince the fucking weird AI and the Metal Gear not to blow up Russia and stuff and start World War III. They're always trying to prevent World War III from happening, and
In doing so, almost caused World War III.
almost pretty much.
We have to prevent World War III by killing all of them.
Yeah, and Snake meets Huey. Huey is the father of Octagon. I mean, not Octagon. Fucking Otacon. Do you remember Otacon? Do you remember the fucking nerdy guy that Snake always talks to on the radio?
No.
That's cool because he's from the games that you haven't played before. Anyway, Huey is a guy who's working on bipedal fucking Metal Gear. So he's trying to make Metal Gear Rex.
What do you mean by Metal Gear?
Metal Gear is giant. So Metal Gear is like a
those
mech.
things like the cow thing from the fifth one, I think.
Those are not technically Metal Gear. A Metal Gear has to have nuclear capability.
Oh, okay. So Metal Gear is like that. You know that big robot thing that you fight. I think it's in 5. Maybe it's in 4, where you're like driving away from it in the Jeep, and it's like what? I think it maybe hits the land. What?
Oh, those gecko things? No, they're
No, I think
they're more like hunt and kill sort of thing.
Sahelanthropus.
Sahelanthropus, you got it right.
I feel like it's that.
That
one
is nuclear
where you're like
capable. Yeah.
whipping away, but like, doesn't that is that thing bipedal or is it on 4?
No, it goes from like T-Rex mode to full fucking human. Like, it's the first one to go full fucking human mode.
Yo, I wish there was more of that one in the game. Like, I liked how spooky it was.
Yeah. Actually,
Is that controlled by a person?
Yeah.
Who?
Psychically.
Psychic?
Yeah, psychically. In the first game,
Oh, there's
Metal
nobody
Gear Solid?
inside it?
no, you can do it both ways. You can do it both ways.
You could like drive me.
Yeah, you can drive it.
Yeah.
It backs up.
Yeah.
Salander bitch.
Yeah. There's like a speech button and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm getting to that anyway. I'm getting to that. Fuck. So he teams up with all these former soldiers who are in Costa Rica because there's not a military anymore, but they have to like. They're all raring to fucking go and stuff, and so like he sets up his own Naked Snake. You know what I mean? That he becomes the big Basul after the third game.
Naked Snake?
Yeah, Naked Snake. That's the one we like. That's the one from the third game.
Yeah. That's when he was super badass.
This one's super badass. Crab battle. Crab battle. Yeah, he's the best one. He becomes Big Boss. And
There's some kind of cave demon.
And he starts his own fucking mercenary group that's like super fucking powerful. It's called Soldiers Without Borders or something like that, or Militaire Sans Frontières or some shit like that. And so, well, I don't know why it's French. Some shit has really weird French bullshit. Anyway, they squeezed the fucking sperm out of Ava and made kids out of fucking Big Boss's spermo, his spermogenics. And they made 2 clones using the super baby method. Do you remember that?
No.
Super baby method? They take an Octomom who has 8 fucking children inside of this woman, and they get rid of 6 of them, just toss them out, and then they rehook up all the tubes into these 2 other children so that they get all the fucking ridiculous amount of fucking in vitro nutrients. So much. And it's called the super baby method. And thus Solid Snake was born along with Liquid Snake.
I wonder.
Yeah, Solid Snake and Liquid Snake were born.
That's the most ridiculous thing.
That's Liquid. His blonde brother, who's
looks like a lady.
He's always complaining about, I got the shitty genes, while you, on the other hand, have the good genes. Because if you go into genetics, there's such things as fucking dominant genes and recessive genes. And Liquid got all the recessive genes.
The shitty, fucking goofy old recessive ones.
Dude, I don't even think that's true. I think he actually has all the dominant ones, and he thinks he has all the recessive ones, but I'm not really sure about that. It's very confusing. It's not important.
It's not important.
It's really not important.
He looks like a woman.
Yeah, he's just obsesses over it. That is just a picture of him as a kid. Still looks like a woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady boy.
He gets all the recessive lady boy genes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all the almost girl parts.
He gets all of Ava's genes. It seems. You know what I mean? Fucking Christ. They altered Ava to have like, I don't know, maybe 8 kids, and then they scooped out the 6 of them, and then just make the 2 kids, David and Eli. David is Solid Snake, the one in the first game. Eli is Liquid Snake, the adversary in the first game, like the bad guy. And the 5th game is all about there's a whole group of mercenaries called they apparently 2 kids that they knew. Yeah, 2 children that they knew were taken. They were taken in the night.
Took a children.
Some skull-faced fellow took them in the night, and they're like dissecting on them and brainwashing them and fucking beating them and stuff.
That's a charge.
Yeah, and they managed to rescue the boy, but he's like so fucked up mentally that he's like, no, I only want to listen to my Walkman. You know what I mean? I'm just shutting out and listening to my Walkman. And they're like, we can't even find out what's on the tape because he's trying to stab us if we listen to what's on the fucking Walkman or some bullshit.
So what did they do?
His name's Paco or something. I don't really care because I haven't played that game yet.
No, they should inject him with something and fucking take his fucking Walkman.
Anyway, when they're like, fuck Paco. Rocco. He's turned to the
Tacos, you know, folks.
Fuck Rocco. He's turned to the dark side. Fuck him. And they're like, let's get the bitch instead, the small girl. So they try to get her, but they implanted 2 bombs. They implanted 2 bombs into her abdomen. And like in the helicopter, they're doing surgery on a fucking helicopter, taking the fucking bomb out of her abdomen. And they're like, oh my god, there's a second bomb. And then she's like, bleh, and she stands up and she's like, no, I'm gonna do this. And they're like, no, we 6 grown men are too incapacitated mentally to let a small girl fall out of this helicopter. But she was like, no. And then she fell out of the fucking helicopter. And then like, but she fell out of the helicopter maybe 2 seconds too late or some shit like that, because she only gets like maybe 2 inches away from the helicopter before she explodes hardcore. And there's like bone fragments and like stuff being shoved into, like, her little girl bone fragments are being fucking shoved into everyone on that fucking helicopter who were trying to fucking get the bomb out of her.
That's
like,
sweet.
Worst day ever.
I can dig that.
And one of the
could be best day ever.
One of the medics that was working on her, he's like a combat medic. He actually loses his hand, and he Big Boss is like, yo, I got a great idea. And he talks to Ocelot, because Ocelot's still chilling with him for some reason. Ocelot's great. Ocelot's just a good guy for some reason in this fucking game. We don't know why. He's all like, my nose looks like a taco, I'm a cowboy now. He doesn't go anymore. He goes, ready, steady, call me back. And fucking, holy. He's like all obsessed with revolvers and stuff, being a fucking cowboy. He loves, which is pretty much his life in Russia before he fucking came over there. But anyway, he tries to be a mentor to this medic who lost his hand, and they convince this fucking medic that he is Big Boss. They do facial reconstruction. They do heavy hypnosis. They fuck with his mind for 9 years and claim it was all to be a coma and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the real Big Boss is actually recovering for 9 years as well, right next to him in the bed. That's because they wanted the double of Big Boss really close to each other in case someone snuck into this fucking secretive hospital to kill the Big Boss while he's recovering. Because, like, if you have the most secretive fucking super soldier and everyone wants his genes, literally everyone wants his fucker's genes, because they're like being sold as a super weapon. Because I don't even remember Naked Snake's backstory. Big Boss's Naked backstory. Oh yeah, he was actually subjected to radiation from a nuclear test site.
Superpowers.
Yeah, he was a fucking, hey, Bruce Banner.
Yeah, straight up.
Belted by gamma rays turns into the Hulk.
I don't know what they ever say.
I know, no one's supposed to.
Just nonsense, bitch. What are you saying?
It's part of the induction fucking subliminal messaging of the 60s.
Go buy bonds for 25 cents.
Snap a jab. Or some weird shit. Korea's not your friend.
Bogus desegregation.
Yes, some crazy shit like that.
It's holy.